What's going on, guys? It's your boy Billy Chuck coming at you with episode 47. In this episode, we're discussing the metal band Kittie. Let's get it. It's like a lot of you motherfuckers. I got into Kittie back when that first album came out, Spit, and their song Brackish, right? That song turned me on to them. But there's a whole bunch more to Kittie. We're gonna dive into that right now. Now, if you're an old fuck like I am, you remember when Kitty first came out. And it was just a wake up call that new metal needed at that time. Dropping less than a year after Woodstock 99. Kitty came out from Ontario, Canada, with their first album, Spit. Um, Pretty much bam, right in everyone's faces. Um, a lot of women obviously jumped on the train, Kitty, but and consisted of the sister duo of Morgan and Mercedes Lander. Morgan was on vocals, and Mercedes is a badass drummer. Um, they were just 17 and 15 when they started. The band's breakthrough album guitarist Fallon Bowman and bassist, my favorite bassist, Dick Kitty had in their lineup. Um, Miss Talina Appiu. She didn't play on the first album, but um, bass player, what was her name? Tanya Cameron. Um, she played on the album. So they were also in their teens. Um, they came out with songs like "Do You Think I'm a Whore" and "Get Off, You Can Eat a Dick," and all more shocking and impactful songs at the time. And as hard hitting as they were, Kitty brought it live too, you know. And they were testing on some of new metal's biggest scenes. Um, they played Ozfest 2000 with Ozzy, Pantera, and more. I was there for the Pittsburgh date. They opened for fucking Slipknot the same year. That would have been a fucking badass fucking show to not only see Slipknot in 2000, which I did, but um to be on stage, share the stage with fucking Corey Taylor and Joey Jordison and all the guys in Slipknot. Come on. Um, yeah, it was called the World Domination Tour. Um, what more do you fucking need for Kitty to fucking ring your fucking hits? November 13th of 2001, Kitty released her second album, Oracle. It was more aggressive than Spit. The album features elements of death metal and thrash metal, which is more than Spit. Spit they wrote when they were kids, so um, Oracle they're more experienced as adult musicians and going on like when bands have their whole lives to record their first album, then pressure's on to come up with a follow up album, and that they did, motherfuckers. That they did. Morgan Lander noted how the band members were only 14 years old when they were writing their debut album. So, um, But, yeah, so Oracle is badass. Um, they used to listen to shit like Nirvana, Silverchair, and Alice in Chains and shit. When they were writing Oracle, they were listening to Cannibal Corpse and Nile and shit like so. However, the band would continue to write in its own fashion by first composing the music and then using that as the backdrop behind it. So, um, the album Oracle was recorded with Morgan Lander and Jeff Phillips. The latter, who worked as Kittie's guitar tech, who filled his balance position, went on to ship almost 225,000 copies um, by 2018. Um, on February 2nd, Talina Hatfield left the band. Man, I was depressed for a day or two after that. I had it bad for Talina. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me why, but I did. Um, but in April of '03, Kittie and Garth Richardson sued Artemis Records over unpaid royalties of $900,000 fucking dollars. I mean, I'd sue too. Won me almost $1 million. Shit. And 11 breaches of contract by the label. The dispute was settled out of court in '04. But in '04, the group added guitarist Lisa Marks and Jeff Phillips went to work full time on his side project. Thin Eyes Bleed, it was called. July 27th of '04, Kittie released their third studio album. It was called Until the End. But was on March 23rd of '05, Morgan Lander reported that both Lisa Marks and Jennifer Arroyo had left the band. One thing I noticed about Kittie, they go through band members but um, Jennifer Arroyo's split was amicable while Lisa Marks came as a surprise. Morgan cited financial difficulties while they attributed to Artemis Records poor promotion of the releases as the reasons for both members leaving the band. Um, Morgan also revealed that the label and the band were in negotiations over whether the band's contract would be renewed. Uh, she was expressing her desire to leave the label anyway. So Arroyo confirmed that the split was amicable and also cited her desire to work outside of Kittie full time was an additional factor. She would go on to join Billy Graysdale of Biohazard and the band Suicide City. So, in 2005, Kittie added two new members, Tara McLeod on guitar and Trish Doan on bass. Also, in '05, Morgan and Mercedes clothing line. It was called Poison Black Clothing. That started in '05. Morgan and Mercedes also appeared briefly in the documentaries Metal, Headbanger's Journey, and Heavy Metal, Louder Than Life. On February 7th of '06, Kittie released their Never Again EP through Rock Ridge Music. Also in 2006, Morgan provided vocals on the song It Turns to Rust from the album In the Arms of Destruction, In the Arms of Devastation by the Canadian death metal band Cataclysm. And you guys are probably aware of how successful Kittie is, right? So one of the reasons was they started their own record label, Kiss of Infamy Records, and they used that to release their 4th studio album. The label name was later changed to X of Infamy after a cease and desist letter from the attorneys representing the Kiss catalog. Of course it'd be fucking Kiss. But, the owner of intellectual property rights pertaining to the musical group Kiss, alleging that the Kiss of Infamy trademark was confusingly similar to their client's trademark. What a dick. On March 4th of 2008, Kittie announced that Trish Dunn was leaving the band due to her eating disorder, which she developed during the recording of Funeral for Yesterday. She had battled the disorder for nearly 2 years. Soon after, Ivy Vujic officially became the band's new bass player. On August 2nd of 2008, David Lander, founder of band members Morgan and Mercedes and the band manager, he died of a heart attack. But I don't like dwelling on too much negative bullshit. So on June 26th of 2009, it was announced that Kittie signed to E1 Music record label. It was the band's 5th studio album. It was called In the Black. It was released on September 15th of 2009. Videos were shot for 2 singles. What was it called? Cutthroat. Yeah, Cutthroat and Sorrow I Know. Cutthroat premiered on MTV2, Headbangers Ball on September 5th of 2009, and the Canadian show Much Loud on September 20th of 2009. Cutthroat also appeared on the Saw 6 soundtrack, released on October 20th of 2009, also in Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Roderick Rules, released on March 25th of 2011, but on September 16th of 2009, an announcement was made that German label Massacre Records would distribute the album In the Black in Europe. On August 30th of 2011, Kittie released their 6th studio album. It was called I Failed You, and that was released on August 30th of 2011. 2 videos were released for the songs We Are the Lamb. That's a badass fucking song. We Are the Lamb and Empires Part 2. In 2011, Mercedes joined the all-female band Alcoholics, featuring former Kittie bassist Tony Candler. On February 13th of 2012, Kittie announced that Ivy was resigning from the band and that Trish Dunn would be returning. In early 2014, Kittie posted information about a secret project that was in the works on their Facebook page. I didn't know about this. March 8th, Kittie posted photos on their Facebook and Instagram of past and present members all together in the same room with a camera. On March 28th, 2014, Kittie launched an Indigo campaign. I think that's how you pronounce it. Remember, I'm not the greatest at pronunciation, so fucking sue me. Just kidding, don't.
It was a campaign celebrating the impending 20th anniversary of the band, with a DVD documentary featuring past and present members and a tell-all book. Their goal of $20,000 was reached in 8 hours. Ain't bad. Ain't bad at all, Kittie. The campaign closed on April 20th, 2014, with a total amount of 40,525. So they released 203% of the initial goal. Kittie slated that Rob McCallum to direct the documentary and Mark Eglinton to help pen the biography. And we're just gonna keep moving on. In October of 2016, it was announced that drummer Mercedes Lander had started a new sludge doom metal band and called it the White Swan. Didn't know about that either. They released the single Illuminate. The debut EP was called Anubis, and that was released on November 1st of 2016. So, the more you know. On February 11, 2017, bassist Trish Doan died at the age of 31. Doan had moved to Australia in 2013 and had frequently used her social media accounts to speak of her frustrations with depression. On August 30th, the band announced that they would be performing a 3-set single concert on October 27th, 2017 in their hometown of London, Ontario, Canada, in the London Music Hall, actually, featuring different lineup variations of both past and present members. So, I wonder if my girl Talina was there. The concert marked the launch of their 20-year anniversary documentary, and featured the return of Candler, Bowman, Phillips, Ario, and Vujic to perform songs on their respective eras. My girl Talina wasn't mentioned, but maybe she was there. Maybe. I haven't seen or heard too much of her since. But the concert was released on DVD format on March 26, 2019. On March 30th, 2018, the documentary Kittie. I just watched this the other day. Kittie. It was a documentary. It was called Kittie Origins and / Evolutions, and which was filmed prior to the reunion concert. Was released on Blu-ray and DVD for the very first time, like they did with the reunion concert. Talina and Marks declined to participate. So, maybe if I would have read ahead a little bit, I wouldn't have had to ask that. But Atfield was supportive of the documentary, appearing in the initial crowdfunding pitch video. I'm going to have to go back and check that out. Boo. But she didn't think it was the right move for her to appear. Why not? Why not? Obviously, she got some skill slapping the bass. And she's nice to look at, too. And that was packaged with the movie, with a CD featuring a collection of live performances by Kittie. So, in 2019, Morgan expressed the uncertainty about the future of the band. The primary reason was that she didn't feel right moving the band forward without Trish. So several months later, it was announced that She joined the melodic death metal band Cartos as their new lead singer. Um, in October of 2020, Mercedes stated that it was unlikely that Kittie would reunite to perform again without the significant financial offer and the ability to include all of the band's former members, like her sister. She also stated that she found it difficult to go forward with the band without Trish. I get it. I fucking get it. She was not to mention, like, you see these people every day. They become famous, you know, and then they're gone, and that has to be a fucking void in your life. But any user, in late 2021, coinciding with a renewal in nu metal's popularity with Generation Z, Kittie was contracted by bookers to play several shows, prompting the band to officially end their hiatus in January 2022, with Ivy rejoining the band on bass, Ivy Jenkins. On September 18th, or I'm sorry, on September 8th, 2022, Kittie performed their first show since 2017 at the Blue Ridge Rock Festival at the Virginia International Raceway in Alton, Virginia. It ain't too far from me, maybe a little bit, but I'm up here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. But it's all East Coast, you know. Um, Kittie performed on all 3 days of the When We Were Young festival in Las Vegas. Also, um, on May 13th, 2023, Kittie performed their first new song in 12 years. It was called Vultures at the Sick New World Festival in Vegas. On November 19th, 2023, the band confirmed that they were recording a new album with producer Nick Raskulinez at Sienna Studios in Nashville. It is expected to be released this year. So, you guys stay on it. Make sure you nab that up. Peace. And as always, guys, if you like what you seen, like what you heard, leave me some love. Drop a like, drop a comment. I don't care if you're a fucking prick. I don't care. Leave me some love. Peace.